Hi, everyone. My name is Ray Cecily, and I am your host for Project Happy Hour. Welcome, and thanks for joining us. If you haven't had the chance to grab your drink, be sure to do it now. If this is your first time joining us, don't worry. We will fill you in with how this works. In case you feel left out, you could always go back and watch any episodes that you missed on our Prosperi YouTube page. To sum it up real quick, we created this show because we wanted to provide a virtual happy hour for other workers of the industry to enjoy so that you can check out of work for a little bit and check in to join us for some informal but professional fun. The catch of the episode is that there will be a hot word that will be assigned. The goal is for the panelists to answer every question while avoiding that word. Every time the word is mentioned, that will be how many US dollars we will be donating to the World Health Organization's COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. Since we're an international company and given the unfortunate situation of the health crisis affecting the entire world, it's important for us to support our global family and the incredible research efforts that have been made by WHO to urgently find an effective vaccine. With that, let's see what today's hot word is. Today's hot word is management. So each time our panelist says management, it's another dollar that's added to our donation tally. So let's get started and meet our favorite panelists, Leo Nogueira and Rogerio Murari. How's it going, guys?
We are great, and each time the hot word is harder.
That's the whole
Yes,
point.
because
Yes, I thought that say project would be completely impossible. Not say innovation would be hard, but not saying management. We
yeah,
yeah, let's do it. Let's try it.
let me try.
All right, give it a try. So let's start with our first question. What is the difference between portfolio management and project management?
Ray, I don't know what you're drinking today. I don't know what Rogerio is drinking today.
Oh,
Yeah,
we should
Let's
talk
do
about.
it.
You're so right. Okay, I'm having White Claw. I went back to White Claw. That's my favorite. I love wine and I like White Claw. So it's the hard seltzer. What about you guys?
so today I'm drinking gin and tonic. Yeah,
I'm just drinking a Red Bridge. It's probably the first American gluten-free beer. I'm not sure, but I think it is.
Nice. I like that. And cheers, by the way,
Cheers.
cheers.
cheers, of course.
Awesome. So tell me, what is the difference between the two different types of management?
So there are lots of definitions for these two terms. Yeah, I try to make it simple. You can say, for example, the project M. Yeah, okay, M is a nice word. Yeah, project M can be defined as a series of tasks. They are done to produce or a specified product, service, or result, usually within a designated time frame, scope, and quality. Portfolio M, on the other side, is explicitly address interdependencies across strategic investment priorities and planned business outcomes. It involves setting priorities based on business leadership's agreed on objectives, and then choosing programs and projects to undertake based on what will provide optimal business value, the level of risks involved, and available resource also. A simple definition, yeah, okay. A simple definition is that management, sorry, I can't do that. A project M is about executing projects right, while portfolio M is about executing the right projects. This is very nice.
That's the definition that I always say, that project controlling is executing the project right, and portfolio controlling is about executing the right project. So to give another view like that, it's project control. You'll be working to guarantee that the projects are going to be delivering the right scope, on time, on budget, with the quality that's expected. And for that, you need to be responsible and take care of the resource, the acquisition, execute a really good communication to all stakeholders. And the portfolio controlling, you'll be responsible for the intake process. Then you have to use some methodologies and algorithms and methods to select and prioritize the demands based on specific criteria for the organization, based on the goals. So we can guarantee that the projects are going to be executed and aligned with the strategy and also bring value to the company. So like Rogerio say, executing the right project, and the other one is executing the projects right.
I think this is the best definition ever.
Yeah, it's the easiest one. Yeah, you have to select the ones that are aligned with strategy, aligned with the organization, that the right one to be executed, and then with project controlling, you have to guarantee that those projects are going to be delivered.
Makes sense. So essentially, does project management fall under portfolio management?
They have correlation because you have to select and prioritize and select several projects on your portfolio, but it's more a broader view. You have to select the projects that are going to be executed. That's the portfolio management part. And when you select that, you have to go in each project and control any of those to guarantee that they're going to be executed as expected. So they are really correlated. It's a process that, on my point of view, it's end to end. One leads to another one. If the project's not being executed right, the portfolio is going to have problem. If you didn't select the right project to be executed, you can execute it correctly, but you don't get the results. So they're really interdependent.
That's actually a really good point and explanation of that. So, yeah, thanks. That was really good. Anything else you want to add, Rogerio, or we move on?
No, go ahead, please.
So, moving on to our section of Tell Meme About It. So, kind of what you just said, Leo, literally, that they're kind of correlated with each other. So, the first, I love this from the Fight Club. First rule of PPM is don't forget PPM. So, you can't really have one without the other. So, it's super important to have this.
Yes,
I really love this movie.
Classic. All right, next question. So, what are the key elements of a successful portfolio M practice?
I always suggest to be working with 6 different practices on portfolio controlling. I love that. I always say controlling. I know it's not correct. If you're watching that and if you're a PPM professional, every time I say controlling, it's management. But you start working with like the visibility of projects and constraints. Nowadays, there's some organization even suggesting to change visibility to work and constraints. That would be the first one. Then you have to be in a customer-driven prioritization. I'm going to each of them later just to remember the 6th one. You have to be adaptive resource allocation, a continuous execution of value, be able to change, enable culture, and the continuous value realization. When I talk about the project and constraint, if you don't know what the projects are that are being done, the work that's being done, you're probably going to have people work on things that are really not bringing value and are not on the prioritized portfolio that you created. And we also need to know what the constraints, like the risk, the resource, the issues, interdependence between works that need to be done, that maybe can block the ability to deliver this project in the portfolio. And if you know all these constraints and see the work that has been done, it's going to be a lot easier to make better decisions during the entire process. When we're going to talk about prioritization, you really need to understand who your customer is, internally and externally, and what are the goals of those customers, so we can create methods to really do the best prioritizations. And for that, one of the suggestions is to create an investment committee that can have the power to make the decisions on the most valuable ideas. Of course, that to bring those ideas, you need to create methods based on quantitative values. So the project can be aligned with your strategy and your goals. And adaptive resource allocations, when you can start and monitor your initiatives and can change resources if you need it. So not only this project and allocate the resource to that project and keep it going until the end. When you see the entire portfolio, you need to figure out each one is more important for your organization on that time, what initiatives that need the resource on the right time, so you can allocate resource from one project to another one. You can make those change, and that needs to be done, of course, by managing the entire portfolio, the risks, the independence between one project and another one. So if I take a resource from one place to another one, what's the risk that involved there? And this needs to be also be done in an easily way. So when you change priorities, you can really be fast by creating those change or those moves. And of course, during the entire execution, you have to be controlling and guaranteeing that everything is going to be on the right path. Also, we need to the team to be engaged, and the culture of the organization need to be focused on that portfolio, and also controlling and verifying all the value that that portfolio that's being managed, that's being controlled, that's being prioritized and selected, it's bringing to the organization. That is the key elements to the
So
the portfolio management practice.
Very
this
thorough.
is, I think,
Rogerio?
when I was hearing you talking, I was thinking this is a very tough subject, man. I have to I have to choose a lighter subject and next time. It's very hard to say about this PPM. Yeah.
Yep.
So I work with PPM for many years. So I heard something very interesting about this also, adding to what Liu said, because I love this one. You have to have successful portfolio management practices. You have to embrace risks. This is very nice. Your portfolio is going to have an element of risk. It just will. But if your projects are too safe, then you may be losing some opportunity. Sometimes if you be critical enough, you really realize there will be could do more and more relevant work. So embrace risk. So
Yep.
and another one is very good one. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your company times. If a project is not going to deliver the benefits, close it, or better, kill it quickly. It's very nice to do it.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
I mean, that goes off of what Leo was saying with prioritization and prioritizing the right project. So if you're spending all your time and effort on a project that, isn't going to bring any results, then, obviously the prioritization step was definitely missed. So, yeah, what you're saying right now just feeds off of Leo's point of prioritizing the right projects and focusing, time, effort, energy, and resources into the projects that are going to actually bring results to the overall portfolio of the company.
Yeah, and you need to be really flexible and easy to change because priorities change. I just remember we are living in a pandemic situation right now. The world changed really quickly in a couple months. Some of our customers, they really had to make decisions on how to cut the budget in 30% in one day from another and select the right project that's going to be executed. So they have to go really quickly and do all this balance and define what's going to be done. Sometimes you need to kill projects. If you have a project that's not aligned with the new world after pandemic, that project is not going to bring results. So the portfolio management, it's really all those practice to see the overall picture and go and make decision in the right way to bring value to the company.
Yep, makes sense. Makes sense. Awesome. All right. So let's move on to the next meme. So tell me about it. So talking about this literally plays into what you just said about prioritizing. So it says, who the hell needs PPM? Is your project in good shape? Apparently, we started 5 years ago. No one stopped us. So clearly that project is not one that should have been prioritized. And if they had PPM and they were actually managing it correctly, they probably wouldn't have been working on it for 5 years because they would have realized it just wasn't one that should be prioritized, right?
Yeah, the project can go for 5 years, but it needs to be controlled. And what he's saying is like, it's all fine. My job's guaranteed. I'm still here managing this project, not really managing. That's a really funny one.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah, I like it. All right, next question. So, how do I enable portfolio decisions that balance and predict risk, cost, and return?
Want to start, Rogerio?
Nice. Yep, maybe. So I think the main goal of portfolio controlling is to maximize your returns and minimize your risk. Easy, isn't it? How can you achieve this here? So you can achieve this by correctly selecting your projects, right? So
Yep.
how can you do it? First, select correctly our projects. We must rank all projects proposals considering different variables related to this subject like cost estimate, risk, return, strategic alignment, and whatever is relevant to the company, right? Many companies usually do it through spreadsheets, but there are also some specialist tools that makes this kind of task easier, more structured and productive, right?
Yep.
Yes, I totally agree. I think that everything starts with the capacity to elaborate good business case. So it's all in how you can bring a collaborative way to write those business case, because you need to provide an easy way and standardized way to collect this information, like financial, like you said, the risks that are involved with the initiative. But you have to create a way to the specialist that's internal or external to collaborate on this business case. So as you said, if you bring those good data from the intake process, you can select and do a good prioritization. And when you use specialized tool like Things Ideas, the one that we provide, it's really easy to make everyone on the same page. You can create a process, and people from different areas, different segments, different departments that are specialists can evaluate your ideas, can collaborate with more information. So usually if you start an ideation campaign, like you discussed a lot of the last episode of the Project Happy Hour, if you didn't watch, go back there and watch that. You select and collect the ideas, but the person that bring the idea, usually they don't know about all the subjects on the idea. So is the financial correct? Can I really be able to estimate how much that's going to be costing? If there's IT involving, do I know about all the security rules on the IT, all the network and everything that need to be considered on my idea? And that's going all the departments and all the areas of the organization. So if you have a tool, a platform that you can bring the idea and people can build the business case in a collaborative way, but in a standard process, that you can collect all this information and align that and get values for the risks and the cost and the return of investment. It's the way that you can balance and predict all this risk, cost, and return. So by creating a good business case in a collaborative way with all these specialists, that's what I think that is the key enable of a better decision on a portfolio management.
And evaluating this business case against some variables, you can compare this business case, right?
Yes, you can compare, you can evaluate, you can do what if scenarios. There's a lot of things that need to be done. And the interesting thing is like, for you guys, we're in different shirts with different drinks, but we are recording this in the same day. So I had a lot of drinks. Sometimes I even forget that there's the hot word. On the last session, I replied the controlling word several times.
That's okay. We're supporting a good cause, and I know you're happy to do that. And so
Yep.
it's
And it's television.
it's show business.
Yeah, show business. Let's do it.
All right. So moving on, talking about control, since you didn't like to use the word control instead of, obviously, because the hot word is management. Yeah, if you want to deliver, you've got to have control or management of the products or of the projects and the portfolio. So that's basically what PPM is having control over it, right?
Yeah, that's correct. You need to give power to
Everything.
the specialists, the PMs, so they can really be able to control. If you select someone to be a portfolio controller or project controller and they don't have power to make things happen, definitely he's not going to be able to work and provide a good result.
Yeah.
My wife agrees.
Yeah, most women would. You need to give them control for sure at some point. All right, let's move on to our next question. So, how do you integrate and balance across a variety of portfolios that are often different in structure and objective? I think this is a really good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. To integrate and balance across a variety of different portfolio, the first thing you need is to have a quantitative prioritization model. And because you need to ensure the right relevance of each portfolio to the strategy and goals that the customers need and the organization needs. So when have different portfolios, you need to give different weights for that portfolio based on the strategy, based on the goals you want to reach. And to get the best results, you definitely need to have an automated portfolio management tool that to provide an easy way to make those change. Like we said before in the other questions, if you have different portfolios and you have different scenarios, if you have economic change, pandemic is a situation that's going on, you need to be able to identify each portfolio as more relevant at that time. And the tools that you use need to be really easy to be able for you to compare the different results for each portfolio that's being worked on, so you can really be able to do this balance. And like I said on the first question, you need to be really easy for you to change the resource between those portfolios. So come back to the second question. If you don't have a really good intake process, if you didn't write a good business case, if that's not in the standard, it's going to be really hard to change the situation, to evaluate each portfolio. It's more important to the other one, and one thing takes to another. Anything to add, Rogerio? I'd love to see your point of view on this.
In this case, I think some specialist tools can help us a lot in this, because if you have, I said before that you have score the projects inside the portfolio, right? But you also can score the portfolio itself to compare those portfolios. Yes. So specialist tools are very nice to help us on this.
Yeah, I totally agree. I remember we had a customer that they work on the food industry, and they had all those investments. One kind of meat was like pork meat. That's the one that's going to drive the strategy. And 4 months before the strategy has been defined, there is the epidemic or different kind of situation that they have to transform all this to chicken meat. That was being the most important to export, and they to take those decisions, they have to balance the different portfolio. In the first month, the plants that are processing chicken, they almost didn't get any investment, and they're not receiving money because that was out of the strategy. 4 months later, they have to change everything and direct all the resource and all the money from the pork plants to the chicken plants. So this is something that if you don't have a tool, you're going to take a lot of time. And we're living in a world that speed, it's really the key. We have to change and be able to respond with as fast as possible. I totally agree with what you said.
Yep.
Thank you.
A lot of good points there.
Yep.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Let's move on to the final part. So just wanted to mention that the hot word donation goes to the World Health Organization's COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. It's really important for us to be able to support a good cause. Of course, we want to make it fun and try and avoid the word, but we're more than happy to be supporting, something that's going to be able to help everyone. So, and I just also want to mention before we wrap up, that if you do have any questions that you want us to answer, if you have any themes that you want to suggest to us, any feedback, you can send us an email at askphh. So as for Project Happy Hour, askphh at prosperiglobal.com. And we will be able to receive that. We've already received lots of different questions and themes. And so obviously we want to try and answer everyone's questions, but send us what you can and we're happy to hear from you. And yeah, it's been a great session, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.